really nice to be here and not attempting to throw my laptop out of the window because of PhD stress. So thank you for having me. I've decided to divide this short set into two halves, one about black girlhood and coming of age, and the other on community and the black community and loss and belonging. My aunt, one of my aunts passed away recently, and while the family's been reviving with these stories about her, I shared this story that my mother didn't even remember, where when I became a woman, my auntie, she gifted me with £50 and to celebrate becoming a woman, and I was so excited, and I thought, yes, so every month I'm going to receive money, because this is clearly so that was a horrible awakening into girlhood, when I realized that being a woman is not as celebrated as my aunt made out. Wonderful woman. Okay, so one new poem, and from Cane Corn and Gully. Goodbye girlhood, teddies and all. It was a gentle pee, but I still checked the tissue. A mouse twitched, then scrambled in my womb. I did not know I had a womb before that day. I did not think below my arms. This unfurling of my stomach made me squirm on the seat. I wiped again, this time red, well, technically crimson, the shade reserved for embarrassment. I shouted, "Mummy," hoping she would cure me, feed me chicken soup, or wag her finger at it. She ran upstairs, screamed at me, gone at me, now both of us horrified at the bright invite. Mummy squeezed my hand. I let go. It had been a while since we had a tea party. Suddenly, I wanted one. I wanted my pink bear to help me pour my make-believe into an honest cup. And what was I to trade my new position for? When my mother salted the earth, if a boy or man who may have, most likely will, certainly wanting to. I never asked who else made me, helped color me in. I dreamed I arrived in a cavalcade led by panthers, a tiara waiting for me when I became of age, despite not knowing that meant a special kind of special status where you receive money, lots. My mother banished those thoughts with peppermint and finger wagging. It was time to learn the truth. I entered womanhood wishing sex away altogether. Crimson played the swings in my stomach, and I contemplated never swinging again, which I am told means something else. It was a lot and very little. The day I became a woman was the day I discovered my mother was a great liar, hiding the burdens of her gender, her coloring books. Despite these revelations, she comforted, truth. There was still hot chocolate. The sunrise would still. The mangoes would still. The theatre would still. I left my bunk bed with new crimson crayon, yet to witness the rise of my temper and my breasts, grow the parts of my thigh where soft hymns lie. Small breasts and sweet corn. Blessed with bounties that ain't given much attention, I give them the affection they deserve, spend all the hours there are in minutes stripping husks and fine hairs. Once gave all I had to a new island breed. He wiped my legacy with his sleeve, then left. Give me love or give me oblivion. He met me cocooned in loose cotton, nipples high and willing. He swished me in his mouth like hot weeds. We planned to ride a donkey between stars and turnpikes until I was replaced by a new her, a heavy-breasted, more capable of service her. I was too much of old God, drought and gully. I made wine from his ribs. Give me love, or give me oblivion. Between me and fugitive me, there is always a mother explaining simple ain't nothing to be ashamed of. Attention gets you left by the reeds, with your legs separated from your name, and even then, some like him scrawny, easier to pull. I love eating my indecent corn with the husks removed, my bare, unbothered crops. Give me love, or give me oblivion. So Cane, Corn and Gully came from a heritage project where I wanted to learn more about my ancestry, and I decided to revive the dances of the enslaved and through colonial writing. So I read reports, and every time I found movement, whether it was hacking cane or holding a baby or swinging and dancing, any type of movement, I basically tried to revive. And this led to a grand project which became the PhD, where I am trying to, news is, I have found a way to curate poetry with movement through poetic form and dance form with all of the different techniques you can possibly have, thinking about space and gravity and design and shape and body and movement. So really excited about this work and using dance and poetry to offer this bridge between sharing and unearthing narratives in the Barbadian community. So I've just been returning from back and forth trips to Barbados where my fieldwork is. Cool. I salted the mud with my palms, but more a me grew. St. John, Barbados, 1649. I spent enough time telling young Ken I was not born cutting my way through a snake. The dogs call me a monster, cause my kin and I forced to hack at them chests. The young kin say them know they is supreme, cause there are so many of them now, so I tell them no, young kin. More you don't mean nothing, and them tell me no. If you keep getting cut down and keep growing, you must mean something. So I try to convince young kin I is not a jumpy. Bushels of water stopped my eyes. I had thrown Cain onto a cart after seeing my brother removed from the same way. If I hang myself tonight, tomorrow I will be back in the field. Hundreds of me to the left, to the front, right, back, every diagonal down and below. When young Cain reaches maturity, it grows a thick shell. Only when you break its neck is when you hear it hiss a resurrection song. So, two more, and I would like to talk about, so I'm excited about the next poetry I'm going to read, because this is kind of based on Michael Jackson, which is like, oh man. Alright, so the Michael Jackson movie's just come out, so I thought this would be a fitting poem. In fact, yes, this last one, because time. I'm a professional, okay. Yeah, Michael Jackson. So apparently the movie is not good because it doesn't touch on the things that are problematic in his life. But I mean, I was thinking that the best way, if we're going to have a film about early Michael, before allegations and before transformations, just the nicest way of putting it. I think the film mostly should have been about the community itself and what this magnificent character in the early, especially in his early life, did for the community. This poem is called The Goat King, and the work from Kane Corn Gully, which also features said notation. My publishers have told me, make sure when you read, because you tend to do things, show people said book so they can buy said book and they can see said wonderful things in said book. So I have done my obligatory marketing thing, thank you. Okay, good. Right, The Goat King. I'm very interested, as you can hear, in mythologies and these weird and wonderful things. So this poem was based on Michael Jackson, themed on Michael Jackson. I've always wanted to write about Michael Jackson, so here we go. The Goat King. How do you build a statue for a being who did not believe in the permanence of skin? My village has decided they will not mourn or live without a legend. They still leave milk and sugar cookies on their doorsteps. My parents belong to the fighting generation, and their parents' parents belong to the true greatest generation, who would have been the losing generation had it not been for the plantation scarecrow. He pulled the sweet grass from his diaphragm, offered it to a god who walked on 2 feet, was granted the gift of song and tumbling. So when the crows came in their hooded coat, they showed how they could shoot fire from their arms. He sang, he roasted the wind, he taught the first of our village how to leap sideways, liquidate our ankles, wrists, and torsos, disentangle the knots around our necks. What is black movement if not to avoid capture? As his sweetness grew stiffer and stiffer, he could no longer deny the imminence of fire. In his final days, he sacrificed himself in the open crops, the crows bathing in his dribbled phlegm phantoms. Crows are not attracted to death. They are drawn to the unremitting ambition to fight. The perilous notion of love made sweltering love to the untrustworthy promise of life. My village reproduced itself. Its hoodoos and instruments, when it was the time for my parents' generation to earn their name, a goat man emerged, sliding backwards from the sweetgrass. When he sang, the rivers forgot they were rivers. They left their banks to greet him. Nor did the crocodiles remember their purpose. Those in league with the crows, those whose elephantine jaws broke when he spun. He whipped the world onto its original axis, where my kin were the center and the circumference, and good and bad negotiated their agreements, and the twilight no longer asked the fair haze of sky for permission to play outside. On the same side as the fruit trees, the ground soft as the belly of a frog. The goat man was named a king, a protector, an appetite. Milk and sugar cookies were left on doorsteps, admiration, applause, children's laughter, gold beads, land, more land. His hunger starved his skin. One afternoon when the sun was too eager to hunt, it licked the king's head with the moistest part of taste. In great agony, he thrust his horns into the sun's mouth, veins wailing in the trembling heat, bones littered with blisters, each movement a muscle, a reinvention of suffering. The goat king galloped to a land beyond the sweetgrass, ash escaping from his highest vocal peak. My village lamented by playing poker with time. They swept the stage and waited. So thank you very much for having me, and